What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Pro. Welcome back to a brand new video. Are you guys hyped, man? Because I am absolutely hyped. We have finally figured out who our second round matchup is going to be, and we're going to be previewing Heat versus Sixers in the second round. Now, I did want to make this video yesterday because the Sixers officially clinched their first round win yesterday against the Raptors. But I was just watching the NFL draft with my friends, and I was having a good time watching the draft, so I did not have time to film a video. Unfortunately, I'm a Lions fan, but I thought we had a pretty good first round. We'll see how it continues. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the Sixers Heat series for sure, because the Sixers just came off a great Game 6 win. They turned up in the second half, man. They were absolutely unbelievable. But before we do that, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you guys are new, as always. We're trying to get to 1,800 subs as soon as possible, and then eventually to 2,000. So if we can get to 2K, that's going to be a good come up from where we were before. And yeah, last but not least, hit that link in the pinned comment to my second channel, where I upload NBA talk videos, quiz videos, anything that doesn't have to do with the Heat, or like anything that's just NBA related in general, or even like college basketball stuff. I upload on my second channel, like podal videos, quiz videos. If you guys are interested in that sort of stuff, please subscribe to that second channel as soon as possible. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. So like I said, the Heat and the Sixers will meet in the second round. Season series was 2-2 in the regular season. James Harden did not play any of the games. Jimmy Butler and Bam missed some time. You know, we didn't really see these two teams play at full strength a lot. You know, I'm pretty like, I remember that one game where Gabe had like 26, and then he hit that game-winning three. Like, that was crazy. And then there was another game where like Yurtseven was really good in the first half. Like, I remember those two games vividly. There was another game where I think Lowry was hitting a lot of threes, and then the Sixers eventually won that game. I just don't remember the fourth game, but just know that these teams, you know, the regular season series doesn't give a full indication of how these teams will match up against each other, because these teams are not at full strength when they play each other in the regular season. And James Harden, who is a big component of their team now, did not play in any of the matchups. In Game 6 against Toronto, they really showed out in the second half, man. They took over in the second half. Doc Rivers had a game plan to make James Harden go at Gary Trent Jr. as much as possible. And as much of a, you know, good defender as Gary Trent Jr. might be, he is definitely probably the weakest perimeter defender in their lineup when you have Scotty and OG. And then off the bench, I mean, off the bench they have a lot of bigs slash, you know, big wings like Boucher, Achua, and Thaddeus Young. So it made sense for Gary Trent to be the one that they were attacking, and Harden really got going when they were on that 30-7 run or whatever it was. He hit a ton of step back threes, and Embiid, you know, had 33 and 10, another dominant game. Maxey had 25 and 8 assists. Tobias Harris was actually, you know, a really good factor for them in this series. A lot of people did not expect it, but his defense on Siakam was really good, and he was knocking down his open threes as well. So, you know, the Sixers are kind of clicking on all cylinders. You know, in Game 5 it was a tough loss, and then I think they lost Game 4 as well. I think Game 3 and 4. Game 4 they lost. Sorry, Game 3 was when Joel hit the game winner. They probably should have lost Game 3 to the Sixers, because Toronto was outplaying them. Joel just hit a crazy game winner to win that series, to win that game, and that basically helped them win the series as well. A lot of people were saying, what if Doc Rivers blows another lead? It was a possibility. If Toronto had won, you know, last night, then the series would have been tied 3-3, and you would have been looking at a Game 7 in Philly. So yeah, man, shout out to the Sixers for taking care of business. Now the Heat are more well rested, obviously, because we took care of business on Tuesday itself. And the the Sixers just won tonight or last night on Thursday, so we do get a couple more days of rest. The Game 1 is on Monday in Miami, so it's going to be a good, you know, home opener for the series in Miami, white hot. Some of the X factors in beating the Sixers, I did notice against the Raptors. If you guys are Sixers fans watching this video, let me know if you guys agree with me, because obviously you guys probably know your team better than I do, but this is based off of me watching games for your team. It looked like Matisse Thybulle was hurting the Sixers when he was on the court against the Raptors. Now, obviously, Matisse Thybulle is eligible to play all games in Miami, because Miami is not like Toronto where they have the mandate where you have to get the shot in order to play. Matisse Thybulle will be playing every game in the series as long as he's in the rotation. Now against Toronto, Matisse Thybulle was not really a factor, and he kind of was hurting the Sixers at times because the Raptors were kind of leaving him wide open whenever he was on the court, and they were kind of daring him to beat them. And in game 5 in Philly, he was like 1 for 6 from the field, or like 1 for 6 from 3 or something like that, and his only field goal, or a 3-point field goal, was a tipped-in basket by a Raptors player into their own net. So the Raptors were really, really taking advantage of Matisse Thybulle on the floor. Defensively, they were making, they were doubling and helping off of Matisse's man. Helping off of Matisse and trying to double Joel in the post. And Matisse was not cashing in his threes. So the Heat can really take advantage of this. I expect double teams to be thrown at Joel Embiid. There was this like viral picture in the season where I think it was like 3 Heat defenders swarming Joel. I don't know if you're gonna see that, but like you're gonna definitely see more bodies on Joel than you expect, because the Heat, their philosophy has always been try to take the main guy out of the matchup and try to make the others beat you. It happened last year in the first round. It really, really hurt us because Bryn Forbes got hot, but it worked against the Hawks this year, and against the Sixers, it probably could work as well. I don't really trust the Sixers perimeter shooting like that. I think trading Seth Curry was a huge piece for them. I know they got Harden, but Seth Curry was really one of the guys who would scare me in this matchup, because he can definitely knock down open threes and run off screens and stuff. Their only 3-point shooter right now is kind of Danny Green. I know Maxey and Harris can shoot the ball like that, but they're not really known. They're not known perimeter shooting threats. Like, they're not snipers. When you walk onto the court, you have to chase them off screens. They're not that type of player. They're both, scorers who can score at 3 levels, not necessarily just shooters like that. So I think Danny Green is really probably their best perimeter shooting threat. Him and George Niang have been their 2 like shooters, quote unquote. And I don't think that those 2 shooters are really gonna cut it for the Sixers in this series. You're gonna need like a bona fide sniper like that, and I don't think they have one. Danny Green is really on and off. He's not the same Danny Green in 2014 where he was torching the Heat in the finals. That's not the same Danny Green. So we'll see how that we'll see how that goes. But I definitely expect Matisse Thybulle to be taken advantage of if he plays in this series by the Heat, because the Heat are going to be helping off of Matisse Thybulle every time he's on the floor. And the strategy is going to basically be make Matisse beat us. I know Matisse is going to be coming off the bench. I'm pretty sure their starting lineup is Harden, Maxey, Green, Tobias, and Joel. Matisse will be coming off the bench. I expect Matisse to be mirroring Tyler Hero's minutes. When Tyler Hero comes off the bench for the Heat, I expect Thybulle to come off the bench for the Sixers. Similar to how DeLon Wright did the same thing. In the Hawks series, I expect Doc Rivers to throw out Matisse Thybulle every time Tyler Hero is on the floor. Matisse is going to be on the floor. So whenever Tyler Hero is on the floor defensively, when we're guarding Matisse, you just have to kind of help off of him and dare him to shoot and beat us. That's going to be the game plan. I think that Spoelstra is going to run out, especially because you want to get the ball out of Joel's hands as soon as possible. Now, their bench is not really deep. Shake Milton is kind of their best bench player. Niang, and Matisse are their 3 best bench players, and none of those guys are like bona fide scorers like that. Shake Milton can be, but this season has kind of not been that good. Only had like 2 points in game 6 for the Sixers. It wasn't really in the rotation like that. Their starters did most of the heavy lifting in game 6. So the Heat are gonna have to win the bench battle for sure. Hero cannot have the same series he had in series 1. He had a couple of good games against the Hawks, but some other games he was kind of a non-factor. You're gonna have to be a lot better if you're Tyler Hero in this series for sure. And then Victor Oladipo is going to be a big factor in that as well. He's probably going to be in the rotation coming off the bench, and I expect him to win that matchup. Whoever is guarding him, I expect him to take advantage of that, because the Sixers off the bench don't really have perimeter defense. Korkmaz, Niang, they're not really defenders like that. Thybulle is the only guy. and I expect Thibault to be on like a more prominent name, like a Jimmy or a Tyler. So if you're Oladipo and Lowry, you're gonna have to take advantage for sure, because the Sixers don't really have perimeter defense apart from Thibault. You know, Danny Green is solid, but Danny Green is not the same defender. Tobias Harris is not a defender, perimeter defender. Maxey and Harden are definitely not perimeter defenders. So you're going to have, you know, you're gonna have to take advantage of that if you're guys like Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, and whoever is not Jimmy Butler or Tyler Hero is gonna have to take advantage, because one of them is going to be guarded by Matisse. The other one is going to have to take advantage for sure. So that's going to be a big key. You know, whoever is not guarded by Matisse Thybulle is going to have to take advantage of their matchups, because apart from Matisse Thybulle, I do not trust the Sixers perimeter defense. Now, I heard something interesting on Inside the NBA. Kenny Smith said that Bam Adebayo's versatility is going to be limited because he's not going to be able to switch onto guards like he was in round one because of Joel Embiid down low. I still think Bam is going to switch, and I still think that the Sixers are going to try to feed it to Joel, but you're going to see double teams in the post, and I think eventually Joel's going to have to give the ball up. So expect Bam to switch. Like, what Kenny Smith said is complete nonsense. Like, I know these Inside the NBA guys do not watch the Heat like that, but come on, bro. Like, Bam Adebayo has switched against Giannis, and you think that he's not going to switch against Embiid? Nah, he's going to switch against Embiid for sure. You know, you're going to see possessions where Embiid is posted up on a smaller defender, and the Sixers are going to try to feed it to him. But the beauty of the Heat defense is that that's an illusion. So once the Sixers feed it to Embiid, you're going to have 2-3 guys come out once Embiid posts up and try to double and triple team and get the ball out of Embiid's hands. And that's when you're going to have to dare the others to beat you. In round one, Tyrese Maxey was absolutely phenomenal for the Sixers. He's going to have to do the same thing in round two, because if he's not, then the Heat are going to win the series a lot easily than people expect, because Tyrese Maxey, in my opinion, is the X factor for the Sixers. Him and Tobias. I think Harden and Embiid, the Heat are definitely going to try to take the ball out of their hands. You know, Harden had a great game, 15 assists. You cannot have Harden, you know, dominate and run the game like that. 15 assists for Harden is ridiculous. He has the vision for sure, but you have to make sure that, you know, you don't let Harden get his teammates involved as easily. Another thing we have to do, win the rebounding battle. The Sixers are a big team, but they're not particularly a really good rebounding team like that. So you're gonna have to win the battle on the boards. The Hawks had the game that they won in Game 3. The Hawks were able to get 2 big offensive rebounds. You cannot let the Sixers do that. You know, if Joel gets his hands on any offensive rebounds, it's a wrap. We have to force turnovers. We have to limit our turnovers. And, you know, because Harden will turn the ball over. As great of a facilitator that he is prone to turning the ball over. And you have to make sure that you play at your own tempo and control the pace of the game. The Sixers play kind of like an up and down tempo. You know, Charles Barkley said this. He said that the Sixers play like a tempo that's all over the place, whereas the Heat play at a steady tempo. If the Heat can control the tempo and the pace of the game, they'll have a really good shot at winning the series. So I expect the Heat to control tempo. And I expect the Heat to play at their own pace. My prediction is Heat in 6. That's my prediction. You know, I don't want to disrespect Philly. They are a better team than Atlanta, which is why I didn't predict Heat in 5, because I didn't expect Atlanta to be as easy of a challenge as Philly. Philly to be as easy of a challenge as Atlanta. So I have Heat in 6. But I've seen a lot of people take Philly. I've seen a lot of people say this is going to be a 7-game series. So we'll see. You know, I hope this is one of the best series of this second round, and probably the whole playoffs, because I do want to see a classic here. But I think ultimately I got to go with my Heat, man. I really think the Heat are going to make it tough for Philly. That defense, Eric Spoelstra, I think is going to outcoach Doc Rivers, and I think the Heat will win the series. So let me know what your predictions are in the comment section below. Heat fans, Sixers fans, if you guys agree, disagree with anything I said, let me know. Leave a like, subscribe, and check out the second channel. I'll see y'all later as always. Peace.